A really painful, traumatizing breakup can be so agonizing that it traumatizes you on not just an emotional and mental level, but it really starts to feel like you're in physical agony as well. Anytime you're in panic like that, anytime you're in a life or death, which is what a really painful breakup feels like, it feels as painful as a life or death situation. And in some ways to you it is. You're on the verge of losing the life that you want. If you lose the love of your life, you lose the life that you want. So it really is on that level emotionally. The problem is when you're in that state of mind, your mind itself is going to start hyperactivating. It's going to hit you with lies. It's going to hit you with compulsions. It's going to hit you with things that instinctively make you want to do something that will almost inevitably sabotage the very thing you're trying to get back. There's a list of consistent, really powerful, compulsive lies that your brain, your heart, fate itself is going to start whispering to you, sometimes screaming to you to get you to do. Consistently, what I've seen, the people that can resist the impulse to give in to those compulsive thoughts, those fear-based life or death thoughts, are the ones that have a much higher rate of success in getting that person back. So I wanted to create this so that you have something to quickly listen to. The best way to resist a painful but powerful emotional compulsion to act is to have solid, realistic, fact-based evidence, something that makes logical sense to you. If you answer emotion with emotion, you're going to end up exhausted. If you answer emotional fear with real answers, with truth, from somebody or something that you can trust, like real data or logical understanding of your fear, then you can deal with it more. So that's what I wanted to create this for, so people could have a quick go-to when a specific lie is hitting them and tempting them to sabotage their own attempt to get back the person that they love. Number one, you have to recognize the voice. There is this panic voice that happens when you're in life and death situation, when you're in trauma, like I said. Now that voice it's almost like a living thing that has an unstoppable desire to fool you, to get you to do what it wants you to do. And what it wants you to do is anything that will get that person back. So it'll take the form of fate, destiny. If you believe in manifestation, it'll take the voice of manifestation. In other words, it'll start whispering, you need to prove to them how much you love them now. You need to write a letter. You need to pour your heart out. Think of all the things you've realized since they've left. Think of all the mistakes that you can now see clearly that you made. Think of all the amazing things about them and all the amazing things about being together that you took for granted. All of this is incredible, overwhelming evidence. You need to write all this down in a letter and you need to lay it at their feet. If you can share everything that you're feeling right now, then they'll understand and they'll come back. It'll feel like you'll literally think it's destiny telling you, right now she's somewhere thinking about you. Right now, he's wondering if you still love him. Right now. Like that's usually the two first words that voice will lie and whisper in your ear. Do something right now. That's not actually destiny, but you have to take a deep breath and really trust that. It's one of the dangers of manifestation. People really they're open to the universe speaking to them. Well, that pain is going to take the voice of the universe. It's going to pretend to be serendipity. It's going to pretend to be the voice of God. It's going to pretend to be fate. And it'll paint pictures for you. It'll say, this is the moment that's going to get the two of you back together. This key moment, if you choose to act, don't be too afraid to act. Don't do that stupid no contact. Doing no contact is what's going to cost them walking away from you forever. But if you act now, just like an infomercial, but if you act now, just close your eyes and imagine the two of you will be together. You'll have a family. You'll end up growing old together. And one day when the whole family is sitting around you, you'll tell the story about how Grandpa reached out to Grandma in that one key moment and it caused this whole simple dream life to come into play because I refused to let her go. This is the moment when you're proving to her that you're not going to listen to this fear of abandonment. This is the moment when you're going to fight through her barriers and prove that nothing, including her desire to not be with you, nothing is going to stop you from fighting for the woman that you love. Now, that voice is not destiny. It's fear disguised as destiny because it knows fear is not an attractive thing to act on. So you reframe your fear of losing them as courage. I'm not reaching out to them because I'm too weak to live without them. I'm reaching out to them because I'm brave enough to admit my mistakes. I'm not reaching out to them because I'm too desperate to live without them. I'm reaching out to them because I refuse to give up on somebody I love. You might be feeling one way, but when you act on that voice, you're going to be projecting and you're going to come across to your ex the other way. You think you're being consistent, loyal, loving, heroic, and valiant. They think you're being weak, clingy, desperate, and a little bit scary, creepy, emotionally stalky. So it backfires. What you think and what you intend to project is not necessarily what they're going to interpret from those actions when you're listening to that voice. So the first thing to do is realize you can't trust that voice that will try to seduce you into trusting it. And it's offering you the happily ever after. It's offering you the best version of you, the most sincere, most humble version of you that's laying it at their feet. So it seems like the right thing to do. After all, I'm just being honest. And that's what the voice will tell you. Be honest. What's wrong with being honest? Everybody should be honest. The problem is that honest, true version of you is not the most attractive version of you. When we feel desperate, when we feel overwhelmed, is it true? Is it honest? Absolutely. Is it the most attractive version of us? No. Is it going to remind them of the best times when we were together? No. Not unless during the very best times you were with them, you were desperate, in a panic, emotionally weak, and clinging on to something. So chances are, you listening to what you think is your most honest version of you is not going to end with the results that you're imagining in your mind. And when it falls apart, you'll then torment yourself because you were silly enough to listen to that voice. The next slide that kicks in is logic. Now, logic works really well in most phases of life. It works well in school and in your profession and trying to fix your car and trying to replace your garbage disposal. Logic is a really powerful thing to have. It's how you build civilization. The problem is logic when you're in heartbreak isn't really logic. That logic tells you that every day that goes by, they're getting further away. That seems logical. But remember, human attraction, human instincts, human behavior isn't based on logic. Do you know anybody that really logically comes up with a plan of their life and logically does everything according to that plan? Attraction is one of those things that's not built on logic. It's based on instinct. It's based on sometimes, how many times have you heard somebody say, I can't help who I'm attracted to. I can't help how I feel. Like right now, logically, somebody just rejected you. Logically, you should move on. But illogically, you want them back more than anything. Even though they have devalued you to a great degree, their value in your eyes has gone up. So stop trusting logic. Logic tells you every day they go by without reaching out to you is a day they get further away. But in some cases, especially after a breakup, they're feeling relief. They're feeling enthusiastic. If you were in the power position for the majority of that relationship, they're feeling a new sense of authority, this new sense of control. They're not only feeling relief because they had a conversation to get out of a relationship that they'd been planning for some time, they have a sense of pride in themselves for being strong enough to walk away from you. They're feeling a sense of excitement about the next stage of their life. If you compete with that, if you try to talk them out of that, then you become an obstacle to the best version of them. That drains attraction even more. But when they were with you, they saw the best version of their life as being with the love of their life. Being with you meant the best version of their life. Now that they've broken up with you, they're convinced the better version of the life they're meant to lead is without you. So the more you're trying to pull them back, even if you don't know it, you're trying to talk them into compromising into the life that they were meant to live. You're now becoming an obstacle. And every time they turn you down, they feel a little bit stronger. Every time they reject you, you're accidentally getting them to reinforce the idea that they don't want to be with you. If they just break up with you, that's bad enough. But if they break up with you and then you reach out and they say no, and then you reach out with more reasons and they say no, and then you reach out with more sorrow, more reasons, one more attempt, well, now they know that you're a no. You're literally training them to see you as the one person they know they don't want to be with. Maybe when they broke up with you, they weren't sure about the breakup. But if you keep chasing, it'll get to the point where they're confident they would rather date anybody else in the world but you. The one thing they know about you is that they don't want to date you anymore. But you're going by logic. So you've accidentally painted yourself into a corner, projected a version of you that isn't the strongest version of you, not the most confident version of you. It's actually the most weak and the most desperate version of you, which is a very easy version of you to say no to. Attraction is based on strength, projecting strength. We want to be with somebody we feel lucky to be with. It's impossible to feel lucky to be with somebody who is begging to be with you. Right now, you're experiencing a sense of loss because somebody that valued you has now devalued you. And the way we're wired as humans, anytime we have a sense of worth or value or importance to somebody, especially deep importance, and then they turn it off, that wounds how we see ourselves. Part of being in love is this empathetic vision. We see ourselves through the eyes of the person that loves us. That's why we're with them in a lot of cases. When I'm with my wife, I love the version of me that I feel like when I'm with her. If she rejected me, if she came home and said, I don't want to be with you anymore, how I see myself just went down. To reclaim that sense of importance, to just reclaim some sense of worth, I'm instinctively going to try to remind her, what was good about me. I'm going to try to recapture that heart, because as soon as she loves me and she wants me, I feel better about myself. So when they broke up with you and they devalued you, it rattled you to your core. It probably hurt you far more than you logically assumed it would. Again, human instincts overwhelm and override human logic. You probably had no idea how much you were going to hurt if they broke up with you. As a matter of fact, you might have imagined it and thought, I don't even care if they break up with me. I'm thinking about breaking up with them. I know I'd be fine without them. And then they broke up with you. And all of a sudden this panic hits you. Now this real sense of loss hits you. That's human instinct. If you want that instinct to work for you, instead of just tormenting you, you have to go against what logic tells you. Give them a sense of loss. That's why the clean slate message is a really strong message to send. A message that doesn't pretend like you don't want to be with them, but it reminds them that you're strong enough to live without them. So telling them something like, admitting, hey, I didn't want the breakup. We both know this isn't something I would have chosen, but now that I've had a chance to process everything and get my bearings, I've realized I don't want to be with somebody who's not excited to be with me. So you're probably doing the right thing. Lean into the breakup. It actually surprises people. It actually kind of catches them off guard, especially if they were anticipating you fighting them. You fighting the breakup is an ego boost to them. You having the strength and resilience to agree to the breakup, even if you don't feel that way, actually triggers a sense of confusion. Confusion triggers re-examination. Re-examination triggers reattraction in many cases. But if you go by logic and you go by fear, you're just sabotaging yourself and reinforcing the version of you that's the easiest to walk away from. Like the metaphor I give is the house and the porch metaphor. If somebody breaks up with you, it's like they're asking you to move out of the house. That house represents your relationship. Well, if it wasn't your choice, then you want to camp out on the porch. The more you're camped out on the porch of that relationship, the more impossible you make it for them to miss you. You can't miss somebody that you've never lost. So if somebody were to walk up to the person that broke up with you and say, hey, do you miss them? No, I don't have to miss them. They're right there. They keep sending me emails. They keep messaging me through friends. They keep sending little reminders and little hearts on my online profile. They're not really far away. I could just open the door and invite them back into the relationship, and they'd come skipping and hopping. They would maul me with a hug if I gave them one more chance. You can't feel lucky to be with somebody that is proven they're incapable of living without you. The other thing logic will tell you, and there's always people in the comments that say this, if they broke up with you, they'll never want you again. There's always somebody that says it. Anybody that breaks up with you, you're never going to be able to reattract them. It's just factually not true. Can we just address that now? Like, I'll give you a little peek into my life, right? I have an ex-wife. We broke up before we got married. No, clearly we ended up breaking up again. My current wife, we broke up before we got married. Then we broke up again before we got married. My own mother and father broke up before they got married. Everybody knows somebody that's actually together and have been together for years that broke up before they ultimately ended up going the distance. So this idea that because somebody broke up with you proves that they don't value you, they don't care, and that you have no chance, that again is just fear taking the form of courage. In other words, your voice is going to tell you, man, it's bad enough that they threw you away. You don't want to be weak enough to chase somebody that threw you away. So you need to just accept now that anybody that ever throws you away can never be the person for you. That's just ridiculous. It's just not true. People make mistakes. People are human. Sometimes attraction is based on instinct. It's based on compulsion. It's not always something, like I said earlier, attraction is not based on something I just logically decide. I have literally seen, I started working with Joe Beam, I don't know how many years ago, more than 20 years ago. We literally saw thousands of couples that fell into authentic love, that fell out of love, that were able to recapture love again. When I was working with Coach Lee, me and Coach Lee and Dr. Beam, we saw it happen thousands of times. It happens. So the fact that you're in a breakup, it doesn't automatically mean that that person should never be trusted again and that they can't be reattracted to you again. Hell, my mentor, Dr. Beam, and it's part of his story, I'm not giving anything away, him and his wife were divorced for about 2 years. They ended up getting back together, and they've been together now for over 30 years. So that kind of thing does happen, but your fear and your wounded pride will whisper in your ear, anybody that throws you away isn't worth considering, isn't worth trusting, and they'll never feel that way about you again. I don't know how to say it any other way. If you're watching this and you're a human that's over 15 years old, you probably know a couple that broke up and got back together. The problem is you want to make an assumption. Pain makes you want to come to an ultimate conclusion. So in pain, you want to know, are they coming back for certain? because I don't want to do anything that starts working on a plan to get them back if I don't know they're coming back, because then I'll not only feel rejected, I'll feel stupid. Feeling rejected is painful enough. I don't want to feel rejected and stupid. So if I don't know they're coming back, I don't want to do anything. But you can't know they're not coming back. You can't know they're coming back. So step into that uncertainty and reframe it. Like, success isn't whether they come back or not. Success is, I'm going to learn what I should have learned. I'm going to become the better version of me. I'm going to focus on me because I know that's my best chance to reattract them, and it's my best shot at getting over them more quickly. The plan to win them back is identical to the plan to get over them. Focus on you. Make reasonable changes to you. Become the more attractive version of you. Because I can tell you, going back to human instinct, nobody wants to break up with somebody and look back a few months later and find that they're far more impressive than the person they walked away from. Nobody wants to break up with somebody or walk away from someone and find out that that person went on to success, went on to leveling up, and went on to become the one person that they regret losing more than anybody else in their lives. That's one of the consistent fears we have, that I'm going to let go of the person that I'm going to regret losing the rest of my life. Become that person. Become the best version of you to the point that you don't need them to come back, number one, but no matter what, you're the best version of you so that they're second guessing what they walked away from. Another powerful lie, if they're with somebody else or if you think they're on the verge of finding somebody else, I need to compete with that person. You're not competing with the person at this point. If there was somebody new, you're competing with an idealized, perfected idea. Anytime somebody's falling in love, this adrenaline, this serotonin, this dopamine, everything's kind of flooding their system right now, and it makes you feel like you're on a drug. It makes you feel euphorically good. When you're in limerence with somebody at the beginning, they're perfected. You haven't been with them long enough to know the drawbacks. You haven't been with them long enough to know their dirty underwear in the floor, the way they chew, the way they snore, their obnoxious friends, the stupid shows they watch, how they act when they fart around you. You don't know the drawbacks. It's like a long-distance relationship, an affair, and limerence are all built in this false reality. You get just enough exposure to the person, and you're both putting your best foot forward. Every time you see each other, when you're dating, it gives me time to look my best, to act my best, and to project my strongest. When you start living with somebody, when that limerence starts to fade, that's when reality sets in. But if they've started dating somebody, or you're afraid they're going to start dating somebody, how are you supposed to compete with that? By acting like you're weakest? You think the best way to compete with somebody new that they might be meeting, or somebody they've already started dating, they're in limits with that new person. They see them as new. They see them as exciting. They see them as uncertain, which makes them feel lucky to be with them. They see them as flawless because they haven't been together long enough to know their real flaws. And they see a life with them as fantasy level. And you're going to compete with all that at a time when you feel the most afraid, the most desperate, the most weak, and the most clingy. That's not a fair fight. Head to head, you're going to lose, even if you're a better person. And then they're going to romanticize you as an obstacle to their love. You don't want to become an obstacle they have to overcome to prove they belong together. They'll start talking about you, and it won't be out of jealousy. It'll be out of pity. Pity, sympathy, and guilt drain attraction. You don't want your ex talking to their new person, like maybe she's talking to her new boyfriend. Yeah, I heard from him again. He sent me an email. He sent me a text. I saw him drive by the house last night. Please stop driving by the house. It's such a terrible idea. It doesn't make you feel any better. If you drive by and you see that there's no car or truck there, all it's going to tell you is maybe they're going to be here in an hour. Maybe they'll be here in 5 minutes. So even if you get a good sign, hey, it doesn't look like anybody's at their house. As soon as you drive away, that other person could be driving up right behind you. So you don't even get a moment of relief. But if you drive by and you see a car or truck there, your anxiety is going to spike, and it's going to torment you and hound you for hours, maybe days. But the point is, if they're with somebody else and you drive by, now they're both feeling sorry for you. That's attractive, right? That's going to drive up this sense of regret from walking away from you. Everybody regrets losing the person that is proving to be so emotionally weak that they can't stop driving by the house. Stop doing those things. You don't want them talking about you like they have pity for you because they had to break up with you to be with the one they truly love. That hurts you. It doesn't help you. Give them time to find the drawbacks of that new love. Give them time to have that first fart happen around them. Give them time to lose their temper. Give them time to disappoint each other. And have faith in this. I promise you, the reality of being with this new person will be massively disappointing compared to the fantasy, especially if they did it quickly. If they left you quickly to be with them quickly, it's usually based on some fantasy version of what this dream love is going to be like. And when the fantasy version of love explodes, it explodes in a spectacular fashion. So while you're giving them time to burn through limerence, focus on yourself. So that by the time that new relationship has burned out, and most relationships burn out, by the time they look back at you to see, I wonder what happened to the person I broke up with to be with this clown. I wonder what he's been up to. I wonder what she's been up to. They turn and look at you, and you're the most impressive version of you you've ever been. Now, what do you think human nature is going to tell them about you then? Because you stopped chasing, because you focused on yourself, because you became the better version of you. You didn't just survive the breakup, you thrived after the breakup. Now you've reset everything. They don't even see you as the old you anymore. It's like the 2.0 version of you. And now even that adds to the fantasy. Most women are looking for a story. I mean, most people are actually looking for a romantic story. So before it was like, well, I broke up with you to be with this person. But then later, I found out that new person wasn't great after all. And I looked back and I saw them and they were even more impressive. They were more amazing. And that's when I realized maybe that's the person I'm supposed to be with after all. Now it becomes part of a love story. People love telling love stories like that. And then the last most powerful lie is telling yourself, if I don't get them back, whatever life I live from here on out is a disappointment. I have one vision in my mind of what my best life looks like, the life I was meant to live, and it's with them. I have people send me emails sometimes. I lost the one person I know I'm supposed to be with. I lost the love of my life. I don't even believe in soulmates, but I lost my soulmate. Well, number one, if that's your soulmate, you're kind of believing a built-in lie. If that's your soulmate, part of being a soulmate, if you believe in that, is that they recognize the value of being with you. And even a soulmate can get confused and make a bad decision and come back. But if they don't make a decision to come back because they don't realize what they lost, then I hate to tell you this, they weren't your soulmate to begin with. You've got to stop thinking of life without them as your consolation prize. You have to stop looking at them as my life without them. Anything other than them will be a little bit of a disappointment. In some ways, it'll be a massive disappointment. I won't have the kids I was supposed to have. I won't have the memories I'm supposed to have. Everything about the life I'm meant to live is connected to being with them. That whole thought process itself is so unattractive that it becomes a barrier to winning them back. And you'll believe contradicting lies when you're in this state of mind. Like I had one client tell me, what really torments me is she said she loved me and she was ready to give me eternity until I bought her the wrong engagement ring. He said if I had just listened and bought her the ring that she wanted, then we'd be together today and we would have been together forever. She even told me that, and he sent me a screenshot of the message. I was ready to give you eternity, but then you didn't listen and you bought me the ring that I didn't really want. Now, you see the problem with that. He believed it though because he read it. And when she wrote it, she probably meant it, therefore it's true. It's not true. I said, well, you have to look at it like this. If all it took to break the forever promise that she gave you, if all it took to ruin her eternal love for you was you buying the wrong ring, she never had the strength to love you long term anyway, no matter what she thinks. Because when you're married, when you're together for years, I promise you're going to run into a challenge that's more overwhelming and more intimidating than he bought me the wrong ring. If buying you the wrong ring is all it took to tear down that relationship was built on sand and was just a phantom to begin with. But when you're in pain, you'll tell yourself that, well, I made this mistake, and this mistake. And if I hadn't done those little things, we'd be together forever. Well, if those little things is all it took to sabotage your forever, it was never going to go the distance in the first place. Have enough value for yourself, your life, your identity, your purpose in this life to value it more than you value the emotional opinion of somebody else, even the person you love. I love my wife. I want to know she loves me. I want to be with her. But if she ended up rejecting me, coming home and telling me she wants a divorce, there's got to be something about my life that's more important and more vital to how I see myself than how she sees me. If that's not true, I'm probably not going to be attractive enough to be able to maintain the attraction from her. Nobody wants to be with somebody that's too weak to live without them. And that includes your soulmate. So just remind yourself of these truths. The more you can focus on yourself, remember your self-worth. You have to remember the best version of you before you can remind them. You have to become the strongest version of you to be able to reattract and change how they see you when they walked away. So I hope this makes sense. I know every situation is different and details matter. If you want to reach me, you can find me at realcoachken.com. If this has been any use to you at all, please give me a like, a subscribe, or a comment. I really appreciate those. And I'm going to start answering some comments in my next video. So if you leave a question here, I'm going to pick a couple of questions in the comment section and answer those in the next video. So thanks a lot, and I'll be back again soon.